All right, welcome to the TestPlot podcast. My name's Justin.
I'm Wyatt.
And we're just two ag dudes giving you a college student's perspective on ag issues and the ag industry as a whole. So Wyatt's going to give you a brief overview of how the podcast is going to be laid out.
So with this podcast here, we're going to do this thing called Of the Weeks right after you get to hear our lovely voices for the first time. So Of the Weeks, it's going to come with a tidbit of knowledge Justin or I acquired from this past week. We're going to go through the ag issue of the week, what we'll be spending the most time talking about. And then we're going to go into Bible verse, because both of us are believers in the Lord. And then talk about a farm equipment or piece of farm equipment of the week. Both of us are going to bring one to the table every Monday for you. And then we're going to do a song of the week. Both of us listen to an awful lot of music, and we figured we could put together at least one good song for you if you haven't heard it before, or remind you of a good one that you've heard. And then once we're done with the Of the Weeks portion, we'll dive into the main issue, what you'll get to hear me and Justin blab about the most, our take on it, our opinions, and emphasis on opinions, and really just our take or the general overview from a college student or young adults kind of perspective on what's going on.
I myself am from southern Indiana, and Wyatt.
I'm from northern Indiana.
And we both come from small family farms.
Yep.
And we're both sophomores in college studying agronomy. So we know a little bit about, I would say, what we're going to talk about every week, but we're not complete experts.
No, that's kind of the point. We're growing our knowledge both through the podcast and through our education here at our college.
Also, not only to learn, but also to have a little bit of fun while we're at it. So hopefully we achieve that.
Yeah, maybe you guys can maybe not learn something, but at least get a different perspective on certain issues that you might be wrestling with. But yeah, we're learning. We don't know much, not nearly as much as the people listening. So yeah, take that as you listen, is that we do not know everything.
Also, hopefully you get a little bit of laughs out of these two goofballs that
Are pretending to know things at least, or doing our best to try as a podcast as two 20-year-olds doing this kind of for giggles and farts here. So yeah.
So to start off, we're gonna go into the markets and give you maybe a little update on what's going on in the ag market and if anybody can make money. And on the corn side, it's been kind of a depressing time for a little while now.
Literally everyone, yeah.
So last, I would say when the markets closed Friday, this is according to Hoosier Ag Today, corn closed at $4.25, soybeans closed at $11.25, and wheat closed at $5.27. So corn still not looking good. Soybeans, not the worst we've seen, but certainly not the best of times. In the livestock side, live cattle is at $214, $450. Feeder cattle are at $314, $225, and lean hogs are at $77.80. So the cattle guys are having a good time right now.
Yes, they are. Cheap corn, expensive cattle.
Yeah, makes for a good payday.
Makes for a happy rancher for the first time in a while.
Yeah. So, as I mentioned before, we're a bunch of goofballs, or maybe I'm the more goofball of each.
Nah, we can share the goofballness.
Okay, so anyway, what I learned this week is to be a more responsible human and make sure you have plenty of contacts in your apartment, because I ran out yesterday, surprisingly, and so we're going to rock the glasses for the next 4 days or 3 days. So
yeah, seeing you in glasses has been kind of weird, honestly. I've maybe seen you a handful of times before this even, so yeah, now you looking at me right now with glasses on is a bit weird.
Yeah, which I'm blind as a bat, so...
No.
So, it's definitely good.
How many fingers am I holding up?
14.
when it comes to why it's acquired knowledge from the week, I would say some organization. So I wouldn't say I'm the best at it, but I'm also not the worst. Getting stuff organized for a trip coming up, so making sure I have all the ducks in a proverbial row and keeping all the professors happy with turned in assignments and all the things. So far so good. Also learned some agronomic knowledge about how soybeans are better at drought situations than corn are. That's really just because they do stuff a little bit different types of photosynthesis and some weird sciencey stuff that is really pretty interesting if you're into plant genetics, really, but interesting nonetheless. But I'd say I walked away from this week fulfilled, so to speak, with some agronomic and life knowledge.
Yeah, I would say in terms of the learning something at college, I learned that fertilizer calculations are pretty fun, but also can be pretty easy to mess up.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, once you put 900 pounds of nitrogen on something, or at least get told to put 900 pounds of nitrogen on a cornfield, I think it makes you more interested to see what would actually happen if you did that, and not the farmer's face when he sees that you put 900 pounds of nitrogen on his field. So, fertilizer calculations sure got the best of me kind of at the beginning, but I think towards the end of the week, getting them figured out was definitely a good thing. But yeah, I now have a new nickname amongst the TAs for that respective class called 900, because yes, at the end of a calculation I was told to put 900 pounds of nitrogen per acre on a cornfield. So yeah, do not do that.
You certainly would be getting a pretty nasty phone call from that farmer, given the bill he gets probably.
Oh yeah, and then the dead corn he's going to be looking at here not too long.
Yeah.
So our Bible verse for the week, as we dive into the of the weeks, Bible verse will always be first, because the Lord always comes first in everything we do. There's no way we could do anything on this planet without Him. So, this being the first podcast episode, and going on with what I just said, our Bible verse is Luke 1:37, and the verse reads, "For nothing will be impossible with God." I think that's pretty fitting, given we were both kind of whatever about this podcast, but shoot, we're going to see what happens. Trust the process. If we get something out of it, or other people get something out of it, I think it's achieving its goal. And not only with the podcast, I think with life. That's pretty spot-on advice there, again, coming from the Word of God. So, yeah, Luke 1:37, look it up. That whole book and the whole tidbit of Scripture that comes from is pretty good. But yeah, I won't get too long-winded on that. I'm no minister, but do dabble a little bit. So, yeah, there you go. So, our next of the week, kind of an event portion. If Justin or I, or both of us, take part in an event, or we're attending an event of sorts, either on campus at our respective school of choice, or out in the real world, we'll tell you about it in the of the weeks, in the event of the week. So, Justin and I came back from Salt Lake City, Utah, attending a crop science, soil science, and environmental science conference. It was about 4 days long, and so I'll let Justin go first with his kind of take on the whole trip, and if he came away with anything, or interesting contacts, or people he met, or something like that. So yeah, take it away.
So I would say it was overall a pretty good trip.
Mm-hmm.
Got to see some really cool mountains and terrain.
Yeah.
I would say there certainly was a lot of good things in terms of the quote-unquote professional development that occurs at the actual undergrad conference, but in terms of just learning things about Utah ag and things like that, we went to a co-op. That was probably the most interesting thing that I found, I think, on the trip, but especially when their agronomist said that their biggest field that they custom apply there is 25 acres.
Yeah.
So when you're from the plains and forest of Indiana, 25 acres is a little bit on the small side, but certainly not the smallest we have. But
Plains of Indiana has a nice little funny ring to it, you know.
Yeah, yeah. But I guess that was the big thing from that. But
yeah, so I would say kind of the same thing. So me and Justin, we're two cornfield mice or field mice, so to speak, and putting us in the great big city of Salt Lake. That was certainly an adjustment, but you should have heard and seen our faces when we were flying over those first geographical features you start seeing on the western side of our great country. And it was certainly something that many people quoted us, but we'll let you ask us in person if you ever see us. But it was certainly cool seeing some of the different landscapes and really seeing the circles over Nebraska and Colorado, the pivot circles from the irrigation systems. I know this has nothing to do with the actual conference, but it's still neat. And that they do not farm outside that circle. Those triangles in that field, nope, let them. They're going to grass or something. But inside that circle, by golly, it's green. But, the conference as a whole was really good. So they're again kind of taking us out of the cornfield and planting us on the pavement of the city was, they're again an adjustment, but it was fun. Salt Lake City was really not that bad a place. I didn't feel really weirded out or uncomfortable at all. There again, it's still the city, so I wouldn't trust anybody after dark, but it was still a good time, for sure. Met a lot of cool people, made a few friends from Illinois. We are better than them. I mean, we're just going to preface that.
We're better at growing corn and beans.
Yes, we are. Illinois will take second to Indiana at anything, so that goes without saying. But, I'd say kind of going along with what Justin said, the professional development side of it was really pretty neat. I'd never really been a part of nothing like that. Maybe National FFA convention, but maybe this wasn't so much a convention as it was more a presentation of kind of grad students' research and professors' research and other colleges and stuff. It was still really good. Our flight home left at 5 in the morning, so we got to get to Salt Lake City International Airport at the time of 2:45 a.m. Between there and 3 o'clock. So, that was pretty awesome, I think, because I fell asleep, and then when Justin woke me up, the flight attendant took my Dr. Pepper away, and we were landed in Indianapolis. So, those early morning flights, no wonder they call them red eye, because shoot, it was rough. Jet lag's a real thing. Yeah. But I would say that event or that trip as a whole was really good. Next year, me and Justin will be attending the same conference. It switches around, moves city to city, but next year it is in Eugene, Oregon. No, not Eugene, Oregon. It's in Portland, Oregon. Yeah, goofball. It's in Portland, Oregon. So I think we're going to be downgrading in terms of quality of city, but maybe upgrading in terms of experience, given our age will be a little bit different then. So, well, one of us will be. Yeah. I'll come back at some point.
In terms of the actual conference, I guess, to add to what Wyatt said, contests weren't to the side of Purdue. You can say it. Contests weren't on the side of us in terms of placing. It was a good experience. I guess I'm on a crops team, so it was good to get my first crops contest down. Did not do very good in the agronomy Quiz Bowl contest.
Quiz Bowl is more like Jeopardy. I'm surprised they could even call that a Quiz Bowl competition.
We didn't do very good. Lost first round, but the effort was certainly there.
A for effort.
Yeah.
C- for results, but A for effort.
Yeah.
Ended up like a Wyatt midterm exam here.
I think other than that, it was pretty good, really. We made it there and back safely, so I think that's about all we can ask for.
Yep.
And we learned a little something, too. So.
We did, yeah.
Which kind of rolls us into our of the week in terms of equipment, because out in Utah, their sprayer equipment at the co-op is kind of interesting. It's a Ford F550 that has a 6.7 V8 turbo diesel engine, right?
Yeah.
It's got, believe it or not, a 10-speed automatic transmission.
Ooh.
It's 4-wheel drive. So, certainly a little bit different from the fields of Indiana in terms of the sprayer. You know, having 1,300 gallon, 1,600 gallon tanks on sprayers around here, down to a 545 gallon tank.
Yep.
So a little bit different.
Yeah.
Hydraulic driven pump, and boom lengths probably anywhere from 40, 50, 60 to 90 foot at the very, very
90,
largest.
90 foot if they're trying to take off, yeah.
Yeah, in terms of that. Of course, those sprayers have sections shut off like the ones here. Maybe not quite individual nozzles shut off, but do have that. And other than that, it's like driving, maybe not quite like driving a commercial jet, but flying a little private jet.
Yeah. Comparing sprayers to jets now we're speaking my language, it's kind of fun.
Yeah, but certainly gets the job done when you're spraying 25 acres or less.
Yeah, for sure. It'd be interesting to see, like you see some of those kind of out behind old co-ops or old fertilizer dealers. They're real leggy 80s and 90s 1 ton or 3/4 ton trucks where they jerry rig them to get them all gussied up as sprayer operations or sprayer rigs. Those are kind of fun. Yeah. Seeing those on Marketplace or even just out in the wild, you can see them parked out back in the weeds. But a new take on an old idea is kind of cool.
Yeah. Some of y'all are probably laughing because you're like, dang, I would have wished I had that sprayer back when I was farming. And before our time.
Yes, before our time, is for sure. So our other piece of farm equipment of the week. So to preface this, me and Justin are both fans of the red tractors, the right color of tractor.
Yeah.
Sorry for our listeners, but we are going to have a little bit of bias. Now we're not going to discriminate completely. We dabble in some green.
Green has some good implements.
They do.
Man, they got some good.
But then there's red ones in there.
Then there's red, yeah.
But no, we don't discriminate completely. I mean, we're gonna, by default, our bias is going to be shown through probably all the time. But we didn't think we could top this one, being the first episode and being two red tractor fans, than the IH 1206. I mean, it's just the nicest, the prettiest looking tractor I think out there ever. There ain't nothing better in my opinion. Now, it looks an awful lot like a 56 series tractor, or I mean, it pretty much is in the roundabout way. It's a 112 horsepower, for those of you that don't know, built from the years 1965 to 1967. Now, these things are awful sought after. Now, you can see some of these things going for well out of my budget. You can get them either in terrible shape for about north of 10 grand, which for a 112 horsepower tractor is a bit much, I think. I don't know, maybe not. If it's still running and driving and all the things work, then yeah, sure, we'll go with it. But now a nice one that's not going to be doing much. It's going to be driving on manicured grass and getting hauled around on a trailer and doing all these not-so-tractory things. You can expect to buy one of them for anywhere between $35,000 and $65,000. Yeah, is right. I mean, shoot. Seeing one of them all prettied up it's an experience. It makes you want to just steal it, really. But yeah, they're real pretty tractors, and I've said that a few times now. I just can't get over them. They look real cool. But yeah, if you have any disagreements or would like to throw anything in there about 1206, drop a comment, like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. And as we grow and prosper, hopefully, we'll give you more direction as to where to find us. But for now, we're on YouTube. Just throw that in there.
Yeah. Also, if you've got any certain questions, again, comments or concerns that you want maybe a little more lengthy than a comment on the old YouTube, be sure to email the podcast at TheTestPlot@gmail.com.
Yep.
And we'll be certain to get back to you.
And any piece of equipment, you want two college jokers to give their opinion on. We're pretty much going for looks. I mean, this 1206 here is a 10.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean. So
I'd say it's a 14 or 15 in terms of the out of 10 scale.
Oh yeah, out of 10. Oh man, yep, you're
drop
right.
Dead.
Oh yeah, she's drop dead pretty.
Yeah.
Yep. Mm-hmm. So yeah, if you want our opinion on a piece of farm equipment and you want our honest opinion on it, by golly, we'll give it to you.
And that goes to also if you have any suggestions on Bible verses or anything like that, or also song, because that's our next of the week. And I guess I could pick some strings, but I'm no guitar enthusiast. But
he's Guitar Hero. Don't let him fool you.
Maybe on a really good day, but the song of the week is probably Wyatt and I's favorite song, and probably the one we can sing the best if we're really feeling it. Mm-hmm. And that is "How Do I Feel Alive" by Cody Acuff. So it's a pretty good song. I suggest you go listen to it. You pretty much feel like you can climb those mountains out there in Utah.
Oh yeah, it gets you going before a test. Shoot, you could be walking back from bombing a test. You can listen to that song and it just picks you right back up. I mean, it's just a good dang song.
Yeah.
It's we'll drop a link down there in the description for you to go take a listen. But it's kind of like what Justin said. It's probably one of mine and his collective favorites. Justin focuses a little bit more on the country side of things when it comes to listening to music. Mm-hmm. And I'll listen to anything, whether that's white girl music for riding around on a pontoon in the summer, or sit by a campfire listening to Dean Martin. Who knows? It's old stuff to new stuff. I'm kind of all over the place. But Justin's a little bit more down-home country kind of in his taste. So, you'll get a wide array of stuff. We might diversify and have us both bring songs to the table, or we'll both just agree on one for the week. But, you can expect on one good song recommendation, or maybe refreshing a memory from a song or something like that from us each week. So if you got recommendations, shoot, we'll rate your song even, just like your farm equipment. If you want us to listen to a song and give you our honest opinion on it, by golly, we ain't going to be like Lucy from Charlie Brown and charge you 5 cents for it. All you got to do is email it to us. We'll give you our opinion for free.
Yeah, we don't charge around here.
Nope.
So, to get into the real deal of the
meat and potatoes.
Yeah. We got through the appetizers now, and we're
on to the main course.
Yeah. The ag issue. This week, or this episode, to start everything off, I think this is a good one to start off with, is the public opinion on farming. Mm-hmm. I guess to start off, I think there's definitely folks that think farming's cool, and they
like us.
Support it and everything else. Mm-hmm. And I think there's some that maybe don't quite understand it, or maybe have some strong negative opinions of farming,
or mixed opinions. Might have people that are just clueless about it. Don't know nothing. Want to know something, but don't know nothing.
Yeah. So, I would say to start off with the deep dive into this. Folks that grow up in agriculture, I think, do have a pretty positive opinion on farming. There's not too much that they would maybe hate, maybe in terms of our perspective. But,
right.
I think farming's certainly something that is needed. Everyone needs food, so I think that's something we can all agree on. But I don't know, you got any other comments?
Well, say I just kind of use the Google machine here, and it's AI. I don't know if I can say its name or not. We'll worry about that later. But its AI is saying the public opinion on farming or the ag industry is generally a positive one. I think once you kind of start breaking down the ag industry as a whole is once you start getting those real kind of out there naysayers saying we're killing the planet, saying we're doing terrible stuff to plants and all the things. So you can start the argument about GMOs and herbicides and insecticides and how the efficacy of farmers is a little skewed as opposed to other industries, because we're modifying living organisms or killing living organisms that are harming crops and production and, in the grand scheme of things, worldwide food supply. But as a whole, it's not a bad opinion. I don't think there's certainly some negative ones out there, but I think the biggest, I would say, maybe issue or kind of way to get any negative opinions away is really just education. I mean, education. I mean, shoot, you and I are paying good money to be here at a college that does pretty good at the whole education thing.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm sure you did too. You were involved in FFA, as was I, and we both were in our intro to ag classes as 8th graders or freshmen. And so, getting maybe a wider variety of people in there, so like we all we're required to take a government and econ class, history classes and English classes, stuff like that. Now, ag, yes, it's a selective or an elective, sorry. So yes, you are choosing to be there, but maybe throwing in there, maybe within like some exploratory studies or something like that as you're a freshman or in high school or junior high, or maybe could open the eyes to potential, maybe open interests or light a fire in some people, maybe find their niche that they didn't really know they had in the ag industry, or just really maybe achieving the purpose of education is educating people as to what the ag industry does and what it's all about and how it really affects every single living person on the planet in one way or another. I mean, shoot, you couldn't have this here table if it wasn't for some lumberjack out in Oregon somewhere chopping down trees and somebody complaining about the chicken they're eating in their salad. Couldn't have that chicken if it wasn't for some good old boy in northern Indiana growing some chickens.
Yeah, I think also, I think there needs to be a significant amount of trust in farmers, and I think general census is there's a trust for farmers.
Yeah.
I think if you folks support farmers as well, but support farmers on a small level, you
right.
know, local
farmers markets.
Yes.
Yeah.
Don't think there's a general census too that some maybe believe that the food in the store maybe comes from a factory.
Yeah.
Process, which some does.
Yeah, ultra processed foods. Yeah. Not the best thing, but I mean they are still foods that farmers have a hand in making.
Yeah, but support your local farmers if you really want to help them out. But I mean, I guess in terms of so to deep dive into maybe a little more of some specific examples where maybe ag is maybe not quite trusted. Start off would be maybe chemical use and genetically modified crops. I think in terms of genetically modified crops, one can argue that maybe there's some health discrepancies there, but I think in terms of GMO crops, I don't think we would have a sufficient global food supply without them. So I think it's certainly an important thing. But in terms of chemical use and things like that, herbicides, insecticides, things like that, or pesticides in general,
right?
I think they are a good thing when used properly and with the right practice. There's a lot of good that comes from them. So
right, and those chemicals go through years of research and development, and then they have to get registered or approved by the Department of Agriculture. So there's kind of my stance on it is granted it is the government, and I don't think any of us really like the government, but the regulations are there to kind of help us and guide us. So the proper use of these chemicals and stuff like that, I think would certainly kind of help the public opinion. That didn't make a whole lot of sense, but proper use of chemicals and kind of, publishing that or making it known that we're not just going out there dumping a whole bunch of insecticide in a lake or nothing. We're using it on a cornfield the way it's supposed to be at labeled rates and all the things. We're not just going out there dropping Agent Orange on all this stuff. It's going on and being used the way it's supposed to be.
And, the chemical mix is majority water,
Exactly.
It's such a diluted solution of actual chemical.
Right.
I mean, it still kills the weeds.
Right.
And the bugs, but,
Uh-huh.
it is a lot of water.
Yep.
So
I took part in a little bit of research over the summer where we tested some chemical and did all different kinds of trials. And a herbicide trial is the one I kind of focused on the most, where we used a certain herbicide in different weed populations, weed types, and then compared it to another herbicide of the same kind of category, so to speak, and doing the same stuff, testing it on other weeds and stuff. And I was the mixing guy for this trial, and when we mix these jugs, we're talking 2.5 gallons of water per mix, and then we're going down to ounces or milliliters of chemical, and whether that's the actual herbicide itself and then an adjuvant, you're still only talking milliliters most of the time. Granted, these aren't going over a field of big scale. They're going over 30 or 60 foot passes. But still, if you scale that up even, it's the ratio is still there. 2.5 gallons compared to some milliliters. If you scale that up to a 100-acre cornfield, I mean, shoot, I'm not going to do the math. I ain't any good at it, but there's an awful lot of water going on, not just chemical.
So if you're spraying a field at 15 to 20 gallons an acre, you're maybe spraying a quart of such say Roundup or glyphosate.
Yep.
Or maybe a pint of the Enlist technology.
Yeah.
And the rest of that's water. Now granted there's maybe some other chemicals in there and some adjuvants and things like that, but majority of that's water.
Yeah,
so
it still comes back to the overwhelming majority of what's actually getting sprayed being water. And that's for just about every application. Even the fungicide stuff we did. Shoot, we're throwing the same amount of water in there, and this maybe a different amount of milliliters of the chemical, but shoot. I think, I would die on that hill. If somebody got kind of complaining about the rates the chemicals are being used at, I would not hesitate to bring up the amount of water that's in those mixtures. And there again, on a research scale or even on a production scale, it's still an awful lot of water.
Then I certainly wouldn't want to drink, Roundup like a coffee.
No, I mean, yeah.
Drink it straight. But,
yeah.
I think as long as you're using, protective equipment, things like that, there's really not going to be any concern for, health.
Right.
Because health concerns are. Put my words together, right? But I think that's a good kind of summary and dive into
at least a part of
the realm of herbicides and GMOs. We're talking a lot about crops here, but maybe get a little bit into the livestock guys and gals. I know there's a big talks about animal welfare versus animal rights and using animals for human consumption, but I think we all could agree that we probably wouldn't be here without the consumption of livestock. So
there's a fella named Adam at the beginning of time who spent an awful long time naming these little critters, and you can't tell me he wasn't eating a nice little steak or something. He was, and it's a kind of another point. None of those people that I would say none of those people that are complaining or protesting outside processing facilities or something like that, like none of them really know the level of love and kind of care that goes into taking care of those animals. Those farmers are doing it first as a livelihood, but second for a love of what they're doing. They love the animals they're around, whether that's pigs, hogs, chickens, ducks, goats, fish, who knows. But there's certainly an amount of love and compassion that goes into the farmer to the animal. It isn't an abusive cycle. It isn't a harsh cycle. It's the life cycle if you think about it. But still, it is. There's not a lot of malice going in. There's not negativity, I guess. I'm getting a little hipster on you, but people in the animal production side and the actual farming, there's a lot of love and care that goes into those animals. They're not just beating the tar out of them or malnourishing them. Hell, if they malnourished them, they wouldn't be able to produce them. So,
I would say, and also in terms of, there's always some bad apples in the batch.
Right.
But, they can be held accountable, and that's also in terms, of, the herbicide application side too. There's a lot of regulations there too.
Mm-hmm.
Having an applicator license and things like that. But we certainly have heard some stories of some lawsuits. In our education journey here at our university. But I think in terms of animal welfare too, I think domestication is certainly an interesting thing, and I think there's a pretty good relationship there between livestock and humans, and for instance, a market hog, is alive, we'll say, for 6 months, right? And they serve their purpose on this earth like we do. Their lifespan's just a little bit shorter than ours. So, but I think overall, I think most people would agree that farmers are doing a pretty decent job. But I think both sides definitely have things to improve on, and definitely things to praise themselves about.
Oh yes, I would agree. Yeah.
So, we kind of got through all of the main topics that we want to talk about in the podcast. So, to kind of start to wind down here and kind of debrief over kind of what we did today, we give you guys an update on what's going on here in terms of the market and agriculture. Kind of gave you a brief intro about who each of us are and what we learned this week. And then kind of on to the week scale, gave you some interesting of the weeks, and then kind of turned ourselves into the ag issue, which was the public opinion on farming. So I guess I'll hand it over to Wyatt.
Yeah, so going forward, you can, I wouldn't say expect it like clockwork, but you can almost set your watch to it maybe. Getting one of these episodes ranging from, I would say, anywhere from 15 to 25 minutes, maybe 30 if we're getting windy, episode on an ag issue. So we got a few in the memory bank, or a few here in the reservoir, what we're going to maybe be pulling from for the next few episodes. But if you got something you want us to talk about, do some research on, look into, drop us a comment or drop us a line at the email, TheTestPlot@gmail.com, all lowercase.
And we'll put that in the description as well.
And yeah, we'll throw that in the description there for you too. But yeah, questions, comments, concerns, feel free to either leave them in the comments or email us. Or again, at the email we'll leave for you. But yeah, so this being the first episode, and it is going to be airing on the Monday before Thanksgiving. We hope you all have a great Thanksgiving. Spend it with your family. Enjoy the time. I know I'm going to Alabama with my parents and brother, so that'll be an awful lot of fun. I'm actually looking forward to getting sunburned, so this will be kind of fun.
Yeah, I'll be staying in the Arctic of Indiana.
Yeah, it looks like it. This weather coming up is going to be kind of interesting.
Yeah, I get to spend some time with family, and it's always look forward to that. Especially being away from home. But also, I think we're all both pretty thankful for what we've got going here, and I would say I think we're definitely going to enjoy Thanksgiving.
Oh yes, that's for sure. A well-deserved break. I'm going to toot my own horn a little bit. I mean, our horns.
We're both ready for a little break.
Yes, we are. Going into finals coming up here a few weeks after we get back. So, yeah, a good brain break where we don't have to use them is going to be kind of nice.
It's the 2-minute warning here. We're trying to get locked in to try to get ourselves a win here in this game. So,
yeah. Well, I guess we'll leave you guys with that. There again, questions, comments, concerns, leave them in the comments or at the email, TheTestPlot@gmail.com. And yeah, there again, leave us songs, leave us suggestions, good life advice. There again, we are 2 young adults, and we'll take all the advice we can get.
Try to expand our brain, I guess, a little bit.
That's for sure. So yeah, like, comment, subscribe, and share with your friends. Don't keep our voices under wraps. Spread them. This ought to be fun. We want to get as many people listening to this thing as possible.
And hopefully get maybe some guests on too.
Yeah, guests would certainly be on the docket for sure. Once we maybe start branching out a little bit, maybe look into getting some professors here, or even industry leaders or industry members, or even just straight up farmer
or fellow peers.
Or get some peers in here. That would be even more fun. Get a whole bunch of different takes from a whole bunch of different people. But I'll quit bugging you. We like to see you next week or next episode. Not sure when that'll be, but I bet it'll be next week.
Yeah.
But appreciate your time. We'll talk to you later.
And we'll see you later. Have a good one.